Yo, today I'm talking about a Moonman, a Majohn, a Moonman Majohn, a Majohn Moonman V60, which is modelled on the OMAS 360. You see what they did there? It's very clever, isn't it? So this is a triangular pen rather than your usual traditional dull old cylindrical malarkey. So this is the old OMAS before it was recovered, rescued, rebranded, reissued, whatever you want to call it, brought back to life. They made this pen back in the day, so not in production anymore, as I understand, or at least not brought back yet. But presumably the patent expired, so Moonman have gone and made a nice little clone of it. The reason I say Majohn Moonman is because it says Moonman on here. But if you look on a website or whatever, it's advertised as Majohn. And, you know, that's Kaveko's fault. But anyway. So, triangular pen. And I wasn't sure how much I would like this because it's also got like a triangular section, which kind of guides your grip, I suppose. Not dissimilar to something like a Lamy Safari or a Twisby Eco T, which have the kind of shaped section which will guide your grip. I've not usually been a particular fan of that. I suppose there's that thing in the back of your mind of being told what to do, isn't it? It's like, you must hold your pen like this. Well, what if I don't want to? Yeah, but you do anyway. Well, it's not the point. You know, daft thoughts like that. Anyway, so let's have a little look. So we've got a clip. It's a nice arched clip, pretty stiff, but because of that kind of upturned bill, that will slip on a shirt quite nicely if that's your bag. Cap ring or cap band is a Greek key design, similar to the OMAS. And then of course you've got Moonman there on the back side. Is a piston filler, and as you will see, so this is inked, so I'm not going to operate it properly, but that's without being, you know, really forceful. Let's get Bill out of the way. Not sure if you can see, but that doesn't quite line up when you tighten it back up after filling. Just, you know, it's not really obvious, but if you know it, then it might bug you if that's the sort of thing that would bug you. It marginally bugs me, but you know, not too much. Snap cap, which is secure. Got no bother with that coming loose. It's a nice snap there. Nice kind of domed triangular tops, pyramidal maybe, on each end, on each finial. You've got the section, so you've got a little kind of double step down there for the snap cap, and another Greek key band on the section, which I quite like actually. It's quite nice, kind of jazzes up the section. Then you have a little lip there before you get to the nib, which is again branded Moonman. This case a fine steel number 6 size nib with a plastic feed. As you will see there, the fins are a little bit squishy. Now I can't remember whether that was me or not. Maybe I was seeing if it was a screw-in nib unit, which I still can't remember actually. So we'll come back to that in a bit. So just a little bit of leakage there, or creep maybe. But this has been knocking around in my bag and coming to me with work and whatnot, so it has had a decent try out. Let me just see if I can focus down the cap there. So you got a screw down the cap and a cap seal in there as well. So I've not had any problems with dry out. Trying to think, this has been in use a few weeks at the very least, and I've not had any dry out issues or anything, or major leakage. It's obviously just banging about a little bit and you get a few splatters. Sorry about the focus. As you might expect of everyday use. It doesn't really post, so you could kind of perch that on there. I mean, even perching it requires a decent amount of pressure to just lightly wedge it on, but you know, it'll stay there until you do that. So I'm going to say it doesn't post. These come in many different color options now. So from, obviously this one's yellow, you can get red, black, silver trim, gold trim. You can also get translucent demonstrators in different colors, including a clear, I believe, but there's nice different colored translucent plastics and whatnot as well. So if that's your bag, there's a color scheme for everyone, I think. And when I checked back on the website, advertised in fine and extra fine nib only. That was on AliExpress, so I'm unsure whether they offer others on different places, because I do know Moonman number 6 nibs, they do mediums and stubs and whatnot. So whether it was the case that it was just a particular one I was looking at, I'm not sure. So have a little look around. Incidentally, the price on AliExpress, I picked this up for £14.39, including VAT and shipping. But they range, they go up, they go down. I think that was on offer at the time. So you're looking at anywhere between 15, 20, 25 pounds, depending on where you get it, depending on whether you're in a VAT territory, and depending on shipping. But I got this for about 15 quid all in, which I thought was reasonable. Shall we look at some size comparisons? Okay then. So here we have a tray of pens. In the middle you have the Moonman. Going this way we have a Platinum 3776, the Lamy Safari and the TWSBI Eco, Diplomat Excellence A2 and a Waterman Expert. Going t'other way, you've got Pelikan M400 and a Pelikan M1000, just to kind of illustrate the size difference. We're looking at a pretty big pen. You've got a Pilot Custom 823, Visconti Homo Sapiens, and a Wingsung 630, which is about a Mont Blanc 149 size. So it is in the category of kind of your oversize pens, not overworld. Oh dear, I went to see the Minecraft movie recently with the kids. Oh my god, don't do it, man. Just, oh dear. Sorry, sidetracked, flashback, PTSD. Right. So yeah, oversized pen, yeah. Yes. Measurements. Hold on 1 second. I actually did the measurements this time because I remembered to buy some new batteries for my calipers. So, length, see, capped, uncapped, and does not post. So uncapped, obviously, from the back to the end of the nib. Barrel. So the lower figure is basically from the flat side to the tip of the triangle, and then the slightly higher figure is from flat to flat edge, I suppose. But, you know, I don't know what the correct way of measuring that would be. And same on the section. So the lower figure from flat bottom to pointed tip, and then a slightly higher figure like across the two angles there. Okie dokie. Weight, it is inked, as I say, piston filler. Typically piston filler anywhere from, I don't know, 1.5 mils of ink to 2-ish, probably 1.5 you're looking at in one of these. I haven't measured it. That is a pure semi-educated guess, so give or take a gram or so. I've been using it a couple of weeks. So capped, uncapped, and then the cap on its own. So it's a nice weight. It's not over heavy, and it's not super light. It does feel reasonably. It feels more substantial than I thought it would in the hand. Not to say really, really heavy, but it feels solid, you know. Okie dokie. Now then, how does it write? Let's see. So what do we have? Let us zoom in a touch and lock the focus. Here we go. So what do we have? We have a Moonman. Majohn, which I always forget how to spell. We'll just go with that. Yeah. V60 with a fine steel nib. Ink in here today is Diamine Teal, which I do like a bit of teal. This particular nib is excellent. It's really nicely smooth with just a hint of nice feedback, but very, very smooth and pretty wet too for a fine, which I like. I've come to really like a fine as long as it's decently wet. It's not the finest fine in the world, but it's about what you'd expect off a Western fine, I would say. Do it quickly. Keeps up no probs. Decent flow, as I said. I've had it knocking around work and in my bag and whatnot, in my shirt pocket. Not had any leak issues, not had any dry out issues. But yeah, decently wet. So line variation, pretty stiff, I believe. Line variations and no pressure. Then you can squeeze out a bit more ink, but you're not really getting any variation. You're just making it wetter. But it's a really well-tuned, smooth, decently wet, fine nib. Now, the caveat to that is I was really surprised that was the case, because generally speaking, I have not had good experiences with Moonman nibs, really. So I've had a few. They're very hit and miss in my experience. Yours may differ, but in my experience, except for the capless ones actually, so like the capless replicas, the A1, the A2, they're usually very good. I've got a few of them, and they're usually pretty well tuned. But like their normal number 6 size steel nibs, I've had a few Moonmans, and some have not just been iffy, they've been absolutely atrocious, bordering on unwritable. So this one's fantastic, and I hope that that's an indication of a bit more general quality control, or it could just be really good luck. So just take that on board. If you buy one and the nib is dog poo, don't come shouting at me, fair warning. This is easily, as I say, bar the capless editions, this is easily the best Moonman nib I've ever had out of the box, by a long shot. And I don't know exactly how many I've had in the past, but I've gone from reasonably writable to absolute poo, quite frankly. They've been scratchy, they've been, you get the picture, fair warning. This one's very, very, very good, but you never know. Right. Have I got anything else in my notes? I'll tell you what. I'm not sure whether this nib unit is an unscrewable nib unit or not. Let's have a little look. I'll just get my... sorry, I think I jumped there. I'll just get my, nice clean rag out here. It doesn't appear to be unscrewable. Certainly not without a bit of effort that I want to put in. Having said that, I can see 2 keys in there, so you might need like the little wrench to slot in and unscrew that whole unit there. that wasn't budging with any ease, and I don't really want to accidentally rip it to pieces just now, but looks like you might need a little wrench to do that. Okay. I actually find this a lot more comfortable than I thought I would. Let me zoom back out a little bit. As I say, you've got that kind of, or I shouldn't speak for everyone. I have that kind of thing in my head. I don't need my fingers guided, but you know what? I probably do, because I've got an annoying habit sometimes of rotating one way or the other, just depending on where I'm at. Sometimes I don't move my hand enough, and I end up like, you know, I'm just weird, right? So I can sometimes struggle, depending on the pen, to hold it at a consistent angle. So actually, this might not be the worst thing in the world for me. So I find it very comfortable when I'm holding like this, and then as I go across the page, it kind of forces me to move my hand rather than angle my hand, which I might do with a normal pen. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, it's going to be very much down to personal taste. But I enjoy the feel of this a lot more than I thought I would. I may grab one in another colour. I quite like my classic black pens at the minute, so I may grab myself a black one. See how the nib is on that. But yeah, this is it's very comfortable. As I say, it feels quite solid. Ticks all the boxes for functionality. I suppose the only thing is that piston knob, which doesn't quite line up when you close that up. And yeah, I've got a fantastic nib on this. Whether that's pot luck or whether their QC has improved, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised with this. Certainly at the price I picked it up for, £15, including VAT, postage. As I say, it does vary a little bit, but have a little shop around. Yeah, so nice little pen, that, or nice big pen. Had one of these. Moonman nibs. Good, bad? What do you think? Your sort of bag? Let me know. Take it easy. Look after yourselves. Look after others. See you next time. Bye.